Excalibur's name as a stand would be Chop Suey, named after the song of the same name by the metal band System of a Down. Its stand user would be Excalibur's Protoframe counterpart, Arthur Nightingale. Chop Suey is a close-range stand with immense power and phenomenal speed, attacking with rapid-fire slashes from its own blade made of energy. Each slash also releases a wave of energy to cut down enemies at a distance. Other abilities include releasing a flash of light to blind foes in a small radius, and summoning javelins to pierce through enemies. Finally, like most stands in Jojo, Chop Suey would have a stand rush. While I could go the obvious route and pair it Silver Chariot's rush, instead I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest something similar to Raiden's slash attacks in Metal Gear Rising. Mag's name as a stand would be Opposites Attract, named after the song of the same name by the American singer Paula Abdul. Its stand user is Aoi Morohoshi, Mag's Protoframe counterpart. Opposites Attract is a close-range stand that attacks its enemies using magnetism. It's like if the stand Bastet was given a humanoid form. Its abilities include creating a magnetic vortex to pull in enemies and various objects, immobilizing its opponent in a magnetic field, which redirects all incoming projectiles towards them, surrounding itself with the same magnetic field to absorb and reflect incoming damage, letting out a pulse to pull in nearby shrapnel to orbit itself, which it can later use in its other abilities to cause more damage, and magnetizing the bones of its enemies, forcefully crushing their bodies. Finally, Opposites Attract can perform a rush attack, although like most stands, the attack is simply a series of rapid punches. Volt's name as a stand would be Ride the Lightning, named after the album of the same name by the American metal band Metallica. Its stand user is Amir Beckett, Volt's Protoframe counterpart, a long-range stand with the power of electricity. Ride the Lightning shares many similarities to the stand Red Hot Chili Pepper. However, unlike said stand, instead of sources like cables or batteries, Ride the Lightning increases its power through kinetic energy, accumulating more static electricity the faster it moves. To accommodate this, Ride the Lightning can run at incredible speeds, being able to travel miles away from its user. It can also use its speed to attack faster, especially with a rush attack, and it can also boost its allies with the same speed. If enough electricity is built up, Ride the Lightning can execute its ultimate ability, releasing a powerful electric pulse that stretches up to 20 meters. Lastly, it can use its electricity to create a barrier to defend itself. Nyx's name as a stand would be Basket Case, named after the song of the same name by the American rock band Green Day. Its stand user is Eleanor Nightingale, Nyx's Protoframe counterpart. Basket Case is a close-range stand with the power of mind control, similar to the stand Blue Hawaii, although it does not need to be automatically triggered. Basket Case can take over the mind of anyone, including stand users, in which is able to take control of their stand with enhanced power, albeit only for an indefinite amount of time. Other abilities include releasing a pulse that causes enemies to confuse friend from foe, firing bolts of psychic energy that strip its opponent's defenses, and absorbing damage inflicted on itself, as well as damage enemies affected by its pulse deal to each other, which it later channels into a wide burst of energy. Trinity's name as a stand would be Heart, named after the American rock band of the same name. Its stand user is Leticia Garcia, Trinity's Protoframe counterpart. Heart is a close-range stand with the power to heal others, much like the stand Crazy Diamond. However, this is not entirely true, as Crazy Diamond heals its target by reverting them to a previous state, while Heart simply heals its target's injuries and restores them to full health. Additionally, unlike Crazy Diamond, Heart does not possess much physical strength, although its other abilities can put its opponent at quite a disadvantage. For instance, Heart has the ability to link itself with enemies within its range, redirecting all damage taken towards its user to them, so basically a close-range humanoid version of the stand Lovers. Lastly, Heart can fill its opponent with life energy, which heals its user and nearby allies every time the opponent is attacked. Site 09's name as a stand would be Best Shot, referencing the song Hit Me With Your Best Shot by American singer Pat Benatar. Its stand user is Quincy Isaacs, Site 09's Protoframe counterpart. Best Shot is a long-range stand and an expert marksman, acting on its observations and information relayed by its user to hit its mark. Best Shot's signature attack is using its sniper rifle to take out its enemies. Once Best Shot hits its target, the bullets will then proceed to ricochet and seek out other targets, potentially taking out multiple enemies with one shot. Its user Quincy even has a catchphrase for this attack: "Fire away," referencing the chorus of his stand's namesake. Lastly, Best Shot has abilities to help itself and its user gather intel on its target, such as turning invisible for a short time and summoning an antenna that detects enemies' locations in a wide arc. Frost's name as a stand would be Cold as Ice, named after the song of the same name by the British-American rock band Foreigner. Its stand user is Velimir Volkov II, Frost's Porterframe counterpart. If its name wasn't obvious enough, Cold as Ice has the power to freeze enemies in their tracks, similar to the stand White Album. Although unlike said stand, Cold as Ice can perform more creative feats with its abilities. For one, Cold as Ice has several unique methods of utilizing the cold to attack its foes, like firing an icy projectile that instantly freezes its opponent solid, casting a wave of ice shards to pierce its foes, and its most powerful attack, summoning a devastating avalanche around itself to freeze and shatter its enemies. Lastly, Cold as Ice possesses a move similar to White Album's technique, Gently Weeps, where it freezes the vapor around itself into a protective ice globe. Unlike Gently Weeps, the ice globe can only block incoming damage. However, when activated, enemies within range are frozen and pushed out. Saryn's name as a stand would be Chemical Romance, named after the American rock band My Chemical Romance. Its stand user is Minerva Hendricks, Saryn's Porterframe counterpart. Chemical Romance is a close-range stand with the power to spread poisonous spores to nearby enemies, which decay their bodies until they drop dead. Chemical Romance's spores are able to spread further to nearby foes when they either sustain enough damage or their host is killed, after which the spores explode, releasing toxic pus that further spreads the spores to others nearby. The longer the spores are active, the more lethal the infection becomes. On top of that, Chemical Romance can release a contagious mist that both poisons foes and further intensifies the spore's infection. Lastly, Chemical Romance can shed its skin, leaving behind a decoy to draw enemy fire. Nova's name as a stand would be Big Bam Boom, named after the album of the same name by the American rock duo Hall & Oates. Its stand user is Kaya Velasco, Nova's Porterframe counterpart. As its name suggests, Big Bam Boom attacks with explosions, being able to do so with the power of antimatter. For instance, it can fire an unstable cluster of antimatter, which absorbs all incoming damage before exploding upon contact. Or it can release a growing wave of antimatter particles, coating nearby enemies with primed antimatter. Primed enemies will explode upon death, potentially triggering a chain reaction of detonations if just one of them dies within range of its comrades. It can also use antimatter particles to orbit and defend itself, as well as launch them at foes to inflict damage. Lastly, Big Bam Boom can open a wormhole in front of itself, allowing its user and others to travel far distances. This technique is named Out of Touch, referencing the song of the same name from the stand's namesake. Temple's name, or rather their guitar's name as a stand, would be Fire and Flames, referencing the song Through the Fire and Flames by the British metal band Dragon Force. Its stand user is Flair Varlian, Temple's Porterframe counterpart. Fire and Flames is a unique stand, not just due to its non-humanoid form, but also because of its sentience. Not only is Fire and Flame self-aware, but it loves and is completely loyal to its user Flare, even sharing their love of music. As for its powers, Fire and Flames can act as a flamethrower, while also being able to shoot devastating sound waves to take out enemies at a distance. It can also cause pillars of flames to erupt from the ground, as well as summon loudspeakers to disorient its enemies. Lastly, Fire and Flames' user can rock out with said stand, briefly making themselves invulnerable while empowering their allies for a short time.